Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Sign in Temple for 10 years, starting Zeno candidates. Chapter 71. Not long after, Brawly's body was blown away by Beerus again. Rao is that Brawly's body contains terrifying energy, but at this moment he has also become out of breath. Because a person's physical ability, after all, has a limit. Moreover, the power released by Beerus at this time is indeed much stronger than that of Brawly. It seems that Gods of Destruction Beerus is indeed much stronger than that described in the Dragon Ball Super animation. Wow! Feeling the severe pain in his chest, Brawly roared again, and red cracks appeared in his eyes. Obviously, this attack made him completely crazy. Whoosh! But just when Brawly was about to attack again, Lu Yu's body suddenly appeared in front of Brawly. Okay, Gods of Destruction Beerus is indeed much stronger than I imagined. You are not his opponent, step down. Lu Yu said to Brawly. Brawly's breath had already begun to decline. Even if he continued to grit his teeth and fight on, the final result would be the same. Lost at the hands of Beerus. Seeing Lu Yu's sudden appearance, although Brawly was very unwilling to give up like this. But he still wanted to listen to Lu Yu's words, so he could only nod reluctantly. Then it changed back to the normal state, and then the body jumped onto the deck. Oh, is it finally time for you to make a move? It seems that Saiyan listened to you just now, maybe you are stronger than him. The corner of Beerus's mouth twitched, as if showing a little smug expression. Because in the battle just now, he won the victory. After all, Brawly is also very strong. It is no exaggeration to say that that guy's strength has already surpassed most Gods of Destruction. Beerus, after the battle just now, your energy has been consumed a lot, right? I don't want to take advantage of others, you'd better let Whis heal you. Lu Yu didn't answer Beerus's question directly, but spoke lightly. Although Beerus is still holding on the surface his expression is calm. But I can feel that after the battle with Brawly just now, it took half an hour. At this time, the power of God in his body has also been greatly consumed. Even if he possesses peak strength and energy, he is still vulnerable in front of him. Don't be too self-righteous. Even if I consume part of the energy, it's still easy to deal with you. Beerus said proudly. He was amazed that this guy could feel that he was using too much energy. However, it can only be said that he has a keen sense. It doesn't mean that he can become his opponent. Yes, it seems that beating Son Goku and Brawly made your self-confidence too inflated. In that case, let me see how strong you, the strongest Gods of Destruction, are. Seeing Beerus's arrogant face, Lu Yu ticked Beerus with his index finger and said. Cut, overreaching, get down on the ground. Lu Yu's gesture seems to make Beerus a little uncomfortable. With a sudden roar, he used all his strength and punched Lu Yu directly. From Brawly's attitude towards Lu Yu just now, it can be seen that this guy should be stronger than Brawly. So this time, he directly used all his strength. Get ready to beat Lu Yu with one blow. Out of control. I think it's you, right? Lu Yu smiled contemptuously, and put his hands behind his back naturally, without any intention of resisting. Instead, he was full of satisfaction, quietly waiting for Beerus's fist. Boom! In the next second, Beerus's fist landed directly on Lu Yu's chest. However, the ending is completely different from what Beerus thought. Originally, he thought that his punch was enough to blow Lu Yu away with one punch. But his fist seemed to have hit an iron plate suddenly, and he remained motionless. And it made my whole arm go numb. This is impossible. What's going on? How did this happen? Beerus was shocked for a moment. An unparalleled look of horror appeared on his face. This is completely different from what I imagined. You must know that you have used all your strength just now, and you have hit the guy's chest with precision. But why? He remained motionless. Could it be said that this guy's strength is really terrifying to such an extent? And at this point, it wasn't just Beerus who was shocked. Son Goku and Vegeta and others have been completely dumbfounded. Although Beerus attacked very fast just now, but now Beerus's fist is attached to Lu Yu's chest. So they can think about what happened in just a moment. That was Beerus's hard punch, which didn't cause any damage to Lu Yu. Moreover, his body was as solid as a rock, and he did not move at all. Vegeta rubbed his eyes vigorously, suspecting that he was a little dazzled. How is this possible? Beerus is Gods of Destruction. A supreme divine power in the universe, possessing the strength to overwhelm all things. How is that possible? Am I hallucinating? Master Beerus's fist actually doesn't have any effect on Lu Yu. Vegeta whispered with disbelief on his face. You're not hallucinating, Vegeta. Mr. Lu Yu did take Master Beerus's punch with ease, and his body remained motionless. Son Goku, who was in shock at this time, also came back to his senses, and seemed to be answering Vegeta's words, and seemed to be talking to himself. He is also completely incomprehensible. You must know that when he was on the planet King Kai, Beerus just flicked his heart lightly, and King Nuos lost his fighting power instantly. Is this enough to prove how powerful Beerus is? And now, everyone in Beerus punched hard and hit Mr. Lu Yu with precision. But he acted like nothing happened, with a faint smile on his face. The body did not retreat half a step. This has completely exceeded their imagination. At this time, except for Son Goku and Vegeta, the others were completely shocked and speechless. The gaping mouth could not be closed for a long time. Oh, sure enough, the strength of that Mr. Lu Yu is shocking. Lord Beerus is no match for him at all. Maybe there is a big gap between me and him. Whis also frowned, whispering to himself. And he vaguely felt that Mr. Lu Yu's power is stronger than 10 years ago. Because from his body, I felt something that made me dread. When he first met 10 years ago, he felt that this Lu Yu was extraordinary. He may even have the power to counter him, but he doesn't have the feeling that makes him feel particularly afraid. But now, this feeling of dread is very strong. In other words, in the past 10 years, this guy's strength has been greatly improved. It has even reached the point where he is afraid of himself. Although I don't know what happened to him, but this person is definitely unusual. It seems that this time, Master Beerus is really going to suffer a lot. But at this time above the sky, Beerus still hasn't recovered from the shock. He has never thought, or even dared to think, that there is a human being who can hold his fist hard. What's more, this guy didn't respond to his own fist when taking the test. His body remained motionless, and even his face did not change in any way. Impossible, absolutely impossible for such a thing to happen. Who the hell are you? Beerus shook his head while looking at Lu Yu with a little fear. Although he didn't want to believe what happened before him. But it's true, the guy did take his own punch, and it wasn't easy. In this way, his strength is very different from his own. People stand there for you to attack, and you can't hurt others. The gap among them is very clear. He wants to know who the hell this guy is now. Why does it have such a powerful force? Because in this world, except for Mr. Zeno, Mr. Grand Priest and all the angels, no one has such a powerful force at all. Even if it was in the past, it doesn't exist now. And this guy in front of him definitely doesn't belong to any of them. I have never seen him. You don't need to know who I am. To put it more simply, you don't need to know who I am at all. Looking at the terrified Beerus, Lu Yu said lightly. I can't tell these gods of destruction my current identity. Hateful, although there is still fear in his heart, Bilu is not angry. You must know that as the gods of destruction, no one dared to talk to him like this for a long time. Except for Master Quan, Ajdg, Wang and Grand Priest, even Angel Whis dare not talk to him like this. So at this time, a person who doesn't know his origin and identity is naturally not used to talking to him like this. I don't believe that you can really ignore the power of gods of destruction. Beerus also seems ready to put all his eggs in one basket. Purple flames swirled around his body instantly, and at that moment, his divine aura also skyrocketed. Destroy. Then, a purple energy ball instantly condensed from the palm. And this purple energy ball is much stronger than when it dealt with Broly before. At the moment of condensation, he shot directly towards it. Do you think this kind of thing will work for me? Lu Yu still had a flat face, and his body was still motionless. Before the destructive energy touched Lu Yu's body, it disappeared without a trace. It's like a snowflake is about to touch a red-hot iron sheet, and it has been evaporated before it touches it. No, it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. How could you stop my destruction? Except for Master Zeno and Grand Priest, it is absolutely impossible for anyone in this world to be able to do it. Beerus had completely lost his composure at this time, because the guy in front of him was too terrifying. I don't know anything about him at all. This fear of the unknown made his incomparable ambition. To be honest, I'm not interested in your strength at all. Because you are as weak as a bug in my eyes. Let me tell you, I have the ability and the right to completely wipe you out right now, but I see that your strength is not bad, and it may be useful to keep you. So, remember me. Lu Yu flashed his body, directly in front of Beerus, and whispered in Beerus's ear. Beerus's strength is indeed not weak. Among all the gods of destruction, it is also among the best. I do have the right and the ability to kill him instantly. But in this case, it is somewhat a pity. I always feel that the Grand Priest guy is very weird. As for Zeno, although I don't know why he made himself a candidate for Zeno. Up until now, he didn't feel that he wanted to target himself. In other words, he didn't feel his other plots. Even so, he should not be sloppy in dealing with these big shots. One mistake, it will be beyond redemption. Therefore, while improving one's own strength, one must also have a little influence of one's own. Don't be afraid of 10,000, just in case. If he really gets into trouble with Zeno and Grand Priest, he won't be alone. At least an existence like Gods of Destruction Beerus can help him avoid some troubles. After Lu Yu's voice fell, it directly hit Beerus's lower abdomen. A mouthful of blood spurted out directly from the mouth. Then Beerus's body fell limply, and then he completely lost consciousness. While everyone was stunned, Beerus's body fell to the deck. And the energy protection barrier also disappeared. Seeing Beerus, who was completely unconscious, Whis hurried to the front, then raised his head to look at Lu Yu. As an angel, in addition to supervising the duties of gods of destruction, but also to protect gods of destruction. So far, Lu Yu has no intention of killing. If he wants to kill the gods of destruction, he will have to fight him no matter what. Even if he fights with him, he may face disappearing. But that's what Angel does. Lu Yu's body fell gently. Mr. Lu Yu, can you tell me who you are? Even Angel Whis is extremely curious. He really wanted to know who this Lu Yu in front of him was. Why does he have strength beyond Angel, and can completely ignore the destruction of gods of destruction? It can be said that his strength is probably second only to Lord Grand Priest. But in the universe, for hundreds of millions of years, I have never heard of the existence of such a strong person. Whis, I can't tell you who I am. Besides, you angels have always remained neutral, so you shouldn't be so curious about my identity. What do you think? Lu Yu looked at Whis, and said lightly. He didn't need to know his identity at all, because one of his responsibilities was to supervise Angel. If Angel fails to abide by his duties, he can also punish them. So angels don't need to know their current identities. Okay, what Mr. Lu Yu said makes sense. Our angel is indeed neutral, so we shouldn't be curious about your identity. When Whis heard Lu Yu say that Angel should remain neutral, he knew that this guy was not simple. He is definitely a person who knows gods of destruction and Angel very well, otherwise it would be impossible to say such words. Now that he knows gods of destruction and Angel so well, he doesn't need to be curious about his identity. It's good that you understand. Lu Yu still said in a flat tone. Then, Mr. Lu Yu, if there is nothing else, I will take Master Beerus away. Whis asked tentatively. Anyway, Lord Beerus did offend Lu Yu just now. Not sure if he'll let Beerus go safely. He remembered that 10 years ago, he had looked for Master Beerus. Go. If you stay here, it will be useless for the time being. Lu Yu nodded. I actually don't want to do anything to Beerus, as long as he can remember what he just said. If the time comes to fight against the position, there will be no problem. If he felt humiliated because of this incident, or wanted to take revenge on himself. After that, he will suffer the consequences. Okay, Mr. Lu Yu. Then we shall take our leave. But I think we should meet again in the future. With a slight smile on his face, Whis said to Lu Yu. Lu Yu's strength is so powerful, and his divine power is even more terrifying than his own. This is enough to show that his identity is not weaker than Angel. It is estimated that they will have many opportunities to meet in the future. Yes, we will definitely have a chance to meet in the future. I just don't know what kind of occasion it will be when we meet in the future. Lu Yu also smiled lightly. You must know that all angels are children of the Grand Priest. He always felt that he and Grand Priest didn't match up at all, maybe in the end, there might be a fierce battle. So these angels may become their own enemies in the future. Occasion. What did Mr. Lu Yu mean by that? Whis looked at Lu Yu in surprise. He always felt that there was something in Lu Yu's words. Especially his tone. Very wrong. Nothing, just a casual mention. Lu Yu waved his hand, and naturally he couldn't say it too clearly. Whis nodded, then walked away directly to Beerus. Lord Lu Yu, why did you let that cat go? That guy was very proud just now. Brawly looked at Lu Yu and asked a little confused. Although she also knows that Beerus is gods of destruction. But so what? In the 11th universe, that clown was also gods of destruction, but Mr. Lu Yu directly asked him to kill him without the slightest fear. And that guy named Grand Priest didn't seem to make things difficult for Mr. Lu Yu. So he didn't quite understand. The cat named Beerus just now was even more arrogant. And he didn't have the slightest awe for Lord Lu Yu. Lord Lu Yu, why would you let him go? Although I haven't been with Master Lu Yu for very long, I also know that he is definitely not the kind of soft-hearted person. Hey, do you know that the one just now is the supreme gods of destruction in our universe? Hearing Brawly's words, Vegeta seemed very unconvinced. Originally, he hated Lu Yu a little bit. So at this time, don't help but speak. Although this Lu Yu is very powerful, he should not dare to kill gods of destruction directly. Supreme God, is that so? It's not like Master Lu Yu didn't kill the gods of destruction. Brawly said coldly. For Vegeta, Brawly seems to have a very resistant feeling. Although I don't know what's going on. What did you say? Killed the gods of destruction. How is that possible? Are there other gods of destruction in the universe? Is there more than one gods of destruction? Vegeta was stunned, and Son Goku and others were also extremely surprised. If there is more than one gods of destruction, doesn't that mean that there are many people stronger than them in this world? They naturally don't know that there are 12 universes in this world, and each universe has its own gods of destruction. Cut. Brawly shot Vegeta a disdainful glance. I say Vegeta, keep your mouth shut, unless you want to lie in this bed for a few years. Or, you want me to wipe you out completely this time. Lu Yu didn't like Vegeta at first. Last time, I just punished him a little. Didn't expect this guy to dare to speak like this in front of him now. Vegeta wanted to say something, but quickly suppressed it. Because he saw killing intent in Lu Yu's eyes. He had no doubt that Lu Yu could kill himself. Lu Yu has that ability and also has that courage. A person who dares to kill even gods of destruction, is there anyone he dare not kill? Even if there is, it is absolutely impossible to be me. So the fear and apprehension in his heart made him shut you up quickly. Let's go back. Lu Yu held the hand of number 18, and soon disappeared on the yacht. Brawly followed closely behind, and soon disappeared. But at this time in the universe, two figures galloped rapidly. And these two people are naturally gods of destruction, Beerus and Angel Whis of the 7th universe. Master Beerus, you have finally woken up. How is it? Do you feel all right? Whis turned aside Beerus behind him, then asked with a smile. Cut. You, knowingly asking, do you think I'm better now? Beerus clutched his lower abdomen with a pained expression on his face. Up to now, there are still hundreds of millions in my belly. Whis, do you know who that is? Why does he have such enormous power? Beerus looked very ugly, looked up at Whis and asked. I have been gods of destruction for hundreds of millions of years, but I have never seen such a powerful guy. To say that the ones who are more powerful than him are probably only Master Grand Priest and Master Zeno, and I don't know if Angel has reached his level. A powerhouse of this level, logically speaking, should not be unknown in the universe. But why didn't I have any news about him? Not even a little bit. Unheard of. I'm so sorry, Lord Beerus. To be honest, I don't even know who he is. I asked just now, but he didn't tell me. Whis shook his head. Taguchi said, Aikiju. Regarding this matter, although I didn't ask for the result, I am still very curious now. What? Didn't you even ask? How is this possible? You are Angel, how could you not know of his existence? Hearing that Whis didn't know Lu Yu, Beerus was a little surprised. Although on the surface, Whis is his servant, but in fact he knows it very well. Whis is not only his servant, but also his master, and more importantly, he has a special identity. That is the honorable angel. Their strength is stronger than gods of destruction, and they naturally know more information than gods of destruction. Now he doesn't even know where Lu Yu came from. That guy seems to be very mysterious, and I don't know if Master Zeno and Grand Priest know about it. Ooh, Angel also has something he doesn't know. Whis looked helpless, and then continued, however, from his tone, we can tell that his god position should be above gods of destruction, even above Angel. Because he didn't take gods of destruction and Angel seriously. If he is only powerful, it is impossible for him to be so arrogant. This is his guess. He actually knew the existence of gods of destruction and Angel, so obviously, he also knew the existence of Grand Priest and Zeno. Even if he is not afraid of gods of destruction or Angel, he should be afraid of Master Zeno and Grand Priest. But it can be seen from his posture. He has every right to kill gods of destruction. This means that Lord Priest and Master Zeno are very likely to know of his existence. It is even possible that they gave Lu Yu this right. As for why Master Zeno and Grand Priest did not inform them of the existence of Angel Lu Yu, it must have ulterior motives. Cut. That fool actually made me suffer such humiliation. You know, since I became gods of destruction, I have never been humiliated like this. I will never let this matter go. Beerus clenched his fists tightly. Anger appeared on his face. I haven't practiced well in these years. If I practice well, definitely be able to catch up with that guy in a short time, and even surpass him. When the time comes, I must step on him hard and let him know that offending the gods of destruction will not end well. Hearing Beerus's voice, seeing the anger on Beerus's face, Whis shook his head, and then said, Master Beerus, I advise you to give up this idea. This is definitely a well-intentioned persuasion. It is undeniable that Master Beerus's cultivation talent is indeed very strong. Among all the gods of destruction, it is said to be the best. But even if he wanted to practice to the level of Angel, it would probably take a long time. Even if you keep practicing, you may not be able to reach Angel's level. But that Lu Yu has a strength far surpassing Angel. In front of him, even I can feel a strong fear. So it is almost impossible for Master Beerus to surpass Lu Yu. What, are you kidding me, Whis? Didn't you just see how that guy humiliated me? Beerus's face changed suddenly. He looked at Whis and said. Thinking of that guy's arrogant expression, he still said that he was not qualified to know his identity. Thinking of this, he was furious. After all, he had never heard such arrogant words. What's more, that guy knocked himself unconscious with just one punch. This is definitely a huge humiliation for the aloof gods of destruction. Of course I saw it, Lord Beerus. Whis nodded, and then said, then do you think you have a chance to surpass him? Or to put it more simply, do you think you can surpass me? How long will it take to surpass me? This, beyond you. Beerus frowned slightly, with a heavy look in his eyes. Angel's strength, he is very clear. Especially Angel Whis, there is a gulf between me and him. And that gap is definitely not so easy to bridge. It would take at least 1,000 years, or even longer, to surpass his words. Moreover, this is still under the condition that Whis' strength will not improve at all. I can tell you with certainty that this is me, and there is a world of difference between my strength and that of Mr. Lu Yu. If he really shows his strength to fight me, I guess I won't be able to make it through even one round. That's why I don't really believe that other than Grand Priest, there will be such a powerful guy in the world, but the fact is that it is, and my feeling is definitely not wrong. Whis said to Beerus very seriously. Because among the people I have seen, there are only two people who have given me a stronger sense of oppression than Lu Yu. The one is naturally my father, Grand Priest. And the second one is the former Grand Priest, Dragon God Sarama. Except for the two of them, I have never felt such a strong sense of oppression. Even Master Zeno's two guards did not achieve this level. Hiss. Whis' words made Beerus gasp. You're kidding, Whis. Is that guy really as exaggerated as you said, able to defeat you with 10 strokes? Beerus was obviously a little shocked, but also a little unbelievable. So you think I'm joking with you? Whis asked seriously. Then he said, didn't Lord Beerus feel it? Mr. Lu Yu, like Angel, is in a state of perfect ease and ease all the time. Hearing Whis' words, Beerus's face instantly showed a look of horror. What did you say? So, Does he maintain the state of perfection, ease, and extreme intention all the time? How is this possible? Isn't this something that angels can do? Beerus did not find such a thing. Because in the battle with Lu Yu, I didn't have any room to play. It was only an offensive punch, but it was easily blocked by others with their bodies. There was no evasion at all. It stands to reason that Ultra Instinct can actively avoid all attacks. It must be that Lu Yu felt that there was no such need at all. This kind of thing is really only Angel can do. However, Mr. Lu Yu, like Angel, maintains the form of Ultra Instinct all the time. This is enough to prove that he should also be from the God realm, but we don't know it. Whis explained very patiently. If this is the case, then Lu Yu is definitely someone they can't afford to offend. Even if he was an angel like himself, he would not dare to offend him. Then from what you said, wouldn't it be possible for me to repay my sorrow? Beerus clenched his fists tightly, obviously very unwilling. Being humiliated so cruelly by this guy, if he didn't take revenge, how could he bear it? Revenge, I advise Mr. Ruth, you should not think about it. Because if you keep thinking about this matter, you will be the one who suffers in the end, and you will be the one who gets hurt. Whis said very seriously this time. Although these things don't have much to do with him, since Master Beerus wants revenge, it's a big deal that he will be punished when the time comes. It really doesn't have much to do with me. But after all, they have lived together for hundreds of millions of years, and it would be impossible for them to watch Master Beerus being punished. Hateful. Although Beerus knew that Whis must be for his own good, that's why he made this reminder. But he was still furious at this moment. I am a majestic gods of destruction, can I just swallow my anger after being humiliated? Let's go, Lord Beerus. Let's forget what happened today. This is definitely a good thing for you. Whis reminded again. Beerus let out a long sigh of relief, maybe Whis was right. And before that guy Lu Yu dismissed himself, he seemed to have said a word. It seems to be telling myself not to forget that he is merciful. I don't even know what it means. I don't know what will happen when they meet next time. But at this time on the earth, Lu Ku and the others had already returned to the villa. On the 18th, someone prepared some delicacies. To be honest, within 10 years of the temple, Lu Yu had never eaten something delicious at all, so when he saw the delicious food at this time, his eyes naturally lit up. I just called on the 17th and heard that you were back, so I am going to visit you. After answering the phone, number 18 said to Lu Yu. Oh, my brother-in-law's news is quite well informed. Then let him come over. Lu Yu said. To be honest, I still have a pretty good impression of my little brother-in-law. It was also he who tried his best to match himself and number 18 from the very beginning. Aha, don't change your name indiscriminately, I haven't promised you yet, and you haven't officially started pursuing me. Number 18 pouted, apparently jokingly. In the past 10 years, she had actually figured it out a long time ago. Just like what my younger brother number 17 said, a good man like Lu Yu is hard to find even with a lantern. If you miss it, it will indeed be a lifetime regret. I've given you 10 years to think, and you still refuse to promise me. Lu Yu also pretended to say. In fact, from the moment he first met number 18, he knew that number 18 missed him very much. It is estimated that in the past 10 years, she has already figured it out. Number 18 did not speak, but went in to prepare other things. Half an hour later, number 17 drove to the villa with his family. Although he is an artificial human, he can fly over with his family. It's just that number 17 prefers to enjoy the life of ordinary people, and now he has become an ordinary person. So important things, he will not do. Driving with the family seems to be more fun. After hearing the buzzing of the car, Lu Yu and number 18 hurried out. Number 17 is still the same as 10 years ago, except for some changes in the clothes she wears, her appearance has not changed at all. That's the nice thing about cyborgs, they age much more slowly than normal humans. And behind number 17, there is a dignified woman, and number 17 is holding 2 children by the left and right hands. A man and a woman are obviously the children of number 17, and the faces of the 2 children are full of immature expressions. And it seems a little afraid of people, shy. Yo, long time no see, weird. I didn't expect you to be so young and haven't changed at all. Lu Yu looked at number 17 and greeted with a smile. Aren't you the same, brother-in-law? Although 10 years have passed, your appearance has not changed at all. You must know that we are artificial humans. Number 17 also said with a smile. Number 17, can you stop talking nonsense? The two of us have nothing. Hearing the title brother-in-law on the 18th, he seemed to be extremely sensitive, so he said it to the test machine number. But this time, her tone was obviously different from before. Okay, sister, I still don't know what's going on in your heart. In these 10 years, how have you lived? I think you understand better than anyone else. What if my brother-in-law leaves for another 10 years? Number 17 seemed to be joking, but he was very serious. After finishing speaking, number 18 didn't know how to speak. Indeed, I know better than others how I got through these 10 years. Come on, brother-in-law, let me introduce you. This is my wife and my 2 children. Come on, 4 enemies. No, 17's personality doesn't seem to be much different from what he knew before. Aunt, uncle, the 2 children shouted timidly. Obviously, I haven't seen Lu Yu before, so I'm a bit jerky. The 2 little guys are carved in jade and jade, both have black hair, and the hairstyle of a boy is very similar to that of No. 17. The little girl wore 2 small ponytails, which were raised high, looking a little playful and cute. A pair of big watery eyes stared at Lu Yu, seeming to be very curious. And number 18 and the others have met before, but they have never seen this unexpected uncle. So inevitably a little jerky. They are really 2 cute little guys, who have perfectly inherited your father's good looks. Lu Yu walked over, knelt down and touched the heads of the 2 little guys. Although the 2 of them wanted to hide at first, they didn't hide in the end. Because they felt that the uncle in front of them didn't have any malice. Uncle, my father said you are amazing, right? The little boy summoned up his courage and asked. His father used to be the most powerful in their minds, but his father told them that they had an uncle who was even more powerful than his father. It must be the uncle of the eyelashes. How is it possible? All fathers are the most powerful in the world. Uncle, he's not as good as your father. Lu Yu continued to pat the heads of the 2 children, and said with a smile. In the eyes of children, their father is always the most powerful. Including Lu Yu. This is their spiritual pillar and spiritual strength. I'm brother-in-law, is it really okay for you to talk to children like this? Number 17 looked at Lu Yu, and naturally understood his painstaking efforts, then asked with a smile. Although it is said that his own strength has indeed improved somewhat over the years. But compared with Lu Yu, there is still a very big gap. Why not? You are the greatest and most powerful in their minds. This is something that no one can replace. Quote, Lu Yu continued. And number 18 looked at Lu Yu in surprise. He didn't expect to be able to say such words from Lu Yu's mouth. This is a bit different from his usual style. Come on, don't stand outside, let's talk inside. After Lu Yu finished speaking, he dragged the 2 little guys into the living room. Brother-in-law, I'm really curious, where have you been for the past 10 years? Why can you leave my sister on Earth for 10 years and not see him once? Number 17 asked very seriously. In fact, in his heart, he already regarded Lu Yu as his own brother-in-law. It's not just a verbal joke. In fact, he was also very puzzled and a little angry about this matter. Lu Yu clearly showed his love for his sister, but he actually left her here alone for 10 years. Although my sister didn't say anything, she knew that she had been thinking about it day and night for the past 10 years, looking forward to Lu Yu's return. But he didn't even wait for a word. After the 17th finished speaking, the 18th and the 17th were all looking forward to it, as if they were waiting for Lu Yu's answer. These 10 years. Lu Yu's face changed obviously, and then he said with a wry smile, I also have my own unspeakable secrets. Although my strength is strong enough, in front of the real strong, I am still not worth mentioning. There are many things that I can't decide on my own, but I don't want to tell you these things and become a burden for you. Lu Yu didn't want to tell them about Zeno and the gods concerned with them. Because of this kind of thing they can't help you. In the end, it will become their psychological burden. At the same time, Lu Yu's desire for strength became more urgent. If you have enough strength, such a thing will not happen. If Zeno and Grand Priest can't help me, I won't be called by them, it will be 10 years. I can understand you. On the 17th, just when he was about to speak, the 18th did suddenly say with a smile. After finishing speaking, he put his hand on Lu Yu's and patted it lightly. It seemed to be comforting Lu Yu. Well, if you don't pursue it, what else should I pursue? Besides, since my brother-in-law has said so, there must be some unspeakable secrets. Number 17 also shrugged, and then spoke. I said, brother-in-law, you can't abandon my sister this time, otherwise I won't be able to forgive you. Even if you pass my level, these two little guys are very protective of their aunt. Number 17 said with a smile. Don't worry, it won't happen again in the future. Quote. Lu Yu also said with a wry smile. I can only say my best. If Grand Priest and the others really want to recruit me, there is nothing I can do. At least until his own strength has not surpassed them, he is powerless. By the way, the two little guys are so cute. I didn't prepare any gifts this time either. Then I'll give them something to keep secret, which can be regarded as a meeting gift from my uncle. Lu Yu looked at the two cute little guys, and then gently nodded between their eyebrows. Two powerful destructive energies instantly submerged into their bodies. Of course, these two destructive energies did not destroy their bodies. Instead, stay in their bodies and protect their own. This little thing, I can still do it myself. Brother-in-law, what was that just now? Number 17 asked Li Hao curiously, and the wives of number 18 and number 17 were also full of curiosity. They also knew very well in their hearts that Lu Yu's strength is strong, so what he gives will definitely not be too weak. It's nothing, did I leave some destructive power in their bodies? These abilities are quite strong. As long as they are protected by these two energies, it is impossible for anyone in this universe to harm them. It can be regarded as a little gift from me. Lu Yu said calmly. For him, a trace of destructive power is really nothing. But when they heard Lu Yu's words, the faces of number 18 and number 17 showed incomparably horrified expressions. The power of destruction, how powerful would it be to prevent everyone in this universe from harming them? And Lu Yu said it so calmly. Brother-in-law, although I don't know what the destructive power you are talking about is, this gift is too precious, right? Android 17 looked at Lu Yu in surprise and said. Although I have never heard of the power of destruction, I listened to my brother-in-law's introduction. No one in the entire universe can hurt them, and it's scary to think about it. You know those Son Goku guys are really strong. As for the guy named Gods of Destruction Beerus who appeared some time ago, they have naturally heard of it. Can easily defeat Son Goku and Vegeta. Naturally, it is even more powerful and even more terrifying. Even they can't hurt the two little guys, so one can imagine how powerful they are. What is precious, to me, is just a trace of energy in the body. Actually, I am similar to you, with inexhaustible energy in my body. Lu Yu smiled and said to No. 17. Indeed, it is true that I have unlimited energy now. As long as you don't fight the Grand Priest and the others, it is absolutely impossible to be in a state of exhaustion. Then, okay. Number 17 could only nod his head, and then said to the two little guys, Still don't hurry up, thank you uncle. Thank you uncle, the two little guys said mischievously. Although they are only 5 or 6 years old, they can understand the conversations of adults. You can know how precious the things that uncle gave them are. From then on, in this universe, no one can hurt them anymore. Although there is no clear definition and clear understanding of the universe, it is definitely stronger and bigger than the earth. You are welcome, who made me like children so much. In the future, if someone bullies you, come and tell uncle, can I stand up for you? Lu Yu rubbed his two little heads and said with a smile. Aha, yeah, uncle is the best. The two little guys were very happy when they heard this. The face is full of innocent smiles. I have to say that childhood is indeed an enviable age. Brother-in-law, aren't you a bit too used to the two little guys? The wife of number 17 finally spoke the first sentence. Why, it's good for children to get used to it. Lu Yu said with a smile. Although it is necessary to be strict when it is time to be strict, children who are used to it are generally more confident. Okay, you haven't eaten yet, have you? Wait a minute, I'll ask someone to prepare meals for you right away. Number 18 also said with a smile on his face. You must know that this kind of smile was rarely seen on her face before. And now, she seems to have changed a lot. Especially when he saw his younger brother and 2 children, he was naturally very happy. By the way, I'll call number 16 over later. I haven't seen you for 10 years, let's get together. After Lu Yu finished speaking, instant transmission disappeared into the room. When it appeared again, it had already returned with no 16. Perhaps it was because of the reunion after a long absence that everyone was very excited. So during meals, Lu Yu also drank a lot of wine. At this time, he doesn't seem like a candidate Zeno, but more like an ordinary member of the family. After drinking a lot of wine, Lu Yu fell into a drowsy sleep. This is because he let go of all his vigilance, otherwise, even if he drank the most alcohol, he would not be intoxicated. This sleep lasted a whole day. To be honest, he has never slept so comfortably in the 20 years since he came to the world of Dragon Ball. After all, almost all of these 20 years have been spent in the temple. There are things to think about every day, so it is impossible to fall asleep at all. In this way, time goes by day. Months passed quickly. And in the past few months, the relationship between Lu Yu and number 18 has become more firm. At this time, the two have already confirmed their relationship as a couple. And on this day, under their strong request on the 17th, Lu Yu is going to bring a wedding on the 18th. Many people were also invited on the 18th. Many warriors on Earth are inviting. Son Gohan and Vidal, Chi-Chi and Bulma are all there. Because in the past 10 years, number 18 also had contact with them. The whole villa is extraordinarily exquisitely furnished, a scene of hot fire spraying fuel and prosperity like brocade. For this matter, Lu Yu is also more concerned. After all, this is my first marriage. In fact, he didn't ask Zeno for instructions on getting married, which made him feel a little bit uneasy. Anyway, I am a candidate for Zeno. Are you ready? I see that you seem to be a little upset recently, do you not want to get married? Number 18 looked at Lu Yu and asked, if it's just because of number 17 and them, you don't have to wrong yourself. Say what, you have been waiting for me for 10 years, if I don't give you a title, wouldn't it be too inhuman? Lu Yu tickled No 18's nose lightly, then said with a smile. The reason why I have been a little upset these days is, to be precise, a little nervous. He was afraid that those Zeno and Grand Priest would come suddenly. It will be a bit embarrassing to prevent yourself from getting married. The current self is really not enough to compete with those guys. Looking at you in a bad mood, in fact, I don't feel very good either. Number 18 held Lu Yu's arm, looked up at Lu Yu, and said. In fact, he was more anxious than Lu Yu. The matter of getting married was carried out under his strong request on the 17th. So she was very nervous. Lu Yu didn't really want to marry her. It's okay, this matter has nothing to do with you. Okay, today is our big day, so don't think about such unhappy things, okay? Lu Yu held number 18 in his arms, and put all unnecessary thoughts behind him. Even if Zeno and Grand Priest came, they couldn't stop themselves today. Unless they really want to kill themselves. Aha! Seeing the smile on Lu Yu's face, number 18 also smiled happily. To be honest, I have been waiting for this day for a long time. From today onwards, Lu Yu truly belongs to himself. At that time, no matter where he is going, I will follow him. Never be separated from him again. Okay, the guests are probably almost here, I think we should go out too. Lu Yu took No 18's hand, and the two walked out of the room. At this time, the entire villa was already very lively outside. Almost a sea of people. Even Lu Yu was surprised why number 18 knew so many people. On the 18th, she was wearing a white wedding dress, while Lu Yu was wearing an upright suit. Although he usually wears a lot of martial arts uniforms, he is not used to the restraint of a suit. But at this time today, there is no way. Number 18, you are really beautiful today. At this time, Bulma and Chi-Chi all came over, and looked at number 18 enviously. While envious, I also sigh in my heart, it is really good to be young. After 10 years, Chi-Chi's appearance has changed a lot. As for Bulma, although she is well maintained, her age is just right there. Some crow's feet have also appeared on the skin. And number 18 is different from them. In 10 years, she has hardly changed. Especially her face, which is as youthful and beautiful as 10 years ago. I said number 18, how do you take care of it? Although I know that your family is very rich, but your skin is well maintained, there is no wrinkle at all. Look at Bulma, isn't her family as rich as yours? Her skin is not as good as yours. Chi-Chi speaks more outspokenly. As soon as these words came out, Bulma on the side was obviously a little unhappy. Women, I'm afraid of comparison. Especially for good looks. Why, isn't Bulma's skin pretty good? And you, Chi-Chi, you look pretty good now. Who said you can't take care of yourself? On the 18th today, the mood is obviously very good. After all, it is a big wedding on duty, and you are still marrying the person you like. The sense of happiness is overwhelming. When speaking, it is natural to make others sound comfortable. Even Lu Yu was a little surprised. When did number 18 learn to speak so well? You must know that she used to never deal with women like Bulma at all. Now I have learned how to speak to please others. Look, it's still the 18th who can talk. After I finished speaking, I felt very happy in my heart. Bulma glanced at Chi-Chi and spoke. Who said it wasn't? Chi-Chi also agreed and nodded. Compared to talking, I and Bulma are indeed not as good at talking as No. 18. The guests have arrived one after another. Groups of 3 and 4 were chatting on the side. At this moment, 2 unexpected guests were arriving. Hey, Whis, is this really okay? None of them invited us. If we just pass by rashly like this, I'm afraid it's a bit inappropriate. And the conflict between me and Lu Yu has not been completely resolved yet. These 2 people are exactly Beerus and Whis. It was Beerus who looked at Whis with a worried face and asked. It's all right, Lord Beerus. I don't think Mr. Lu Yu should be that kind of stingy person, and we went this time only to marry them. I think he shouldn't make things difficult for us. Whis said with a smile. In fact, Whis also has its own purpose. That is, he originally went to the earth to eat delicious food. Since the next time he ate delicious food on the beautiful earth, he could not forget it. I can't forget the taste of food. This time it happened to be a very good opportunity to eat delicious food in the name of celebration. I hope so. Otherwise, gods of destruction, have no face. Beerus was still a little embarrassed. After all, they had conflicts before. And going now this time would not help him give in to Lu Yu. This is something I really don't want to happen. Is that all right, Master Beerus? I have already warned you that it will not do you any good to have an enmity with Mr. Lu Yu. This time may be a good opportunity to clear up the past. Whis glanced at the slightly nervous Beerus, and said. He naturally knew that Master Beerus was very concerned about saving face. However, the situation now is quite different from before. Lu Yu's strength is incomparably strong. And according to his own guess, his god position is not low. This time Master Beerus went to congratulate him, which was actually a way of flattering him. Although such an approach may be a bit embarrassing, it is indeed a good choice for the sake of the future. Okay, I get it. Don't think that I don't know what's going on in your heart. After you arrived in the God realm, you've been clamoring for food from the earth. I think this time you go to the earth, the main purpose is to go to the earth to eat and drink. Beerus waved his hand impatiently, looked at Whis and said. Experience it yourself, don't you know what this guy thinks? He simply wanted to eat and drink, and he didn't have a valid reason. And this time Lu Yu got married, just to give him a legitimate excuse to eat. Ho 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 ho. It seemed that his thoughts had been dismantled. Whis could only smile awkwardly. Then the bodies of the 2 turned into a ray of light in an instant, and disappeared into the universe directly. 7 or 8 minutes later, the figures of Whis and Beerus appeared on the earth. Whizzing. The sudden appearance of the 2 made everyone look over. Especially Piccolo and Keelan, they all had expressions of fear on their faces. They had seen the strength of Beerus. And this guy's purpose seems to be to destroy the entire earth. I was defeated by Mr. Lu Yu last time, but what will he do this time? Oh, Beerus and Whis, you 2 are really rare visitors. I really didn't expect you 2 to be here today. Lu Yu cast a glance at Whis and Beerus, and said calmly. Lu Yu wasn't worried at all that they were here to make trouble. Because the 2 of them simply don't have the ability to make trouble. Mr. Lu Yu, I heard that you are getting married today, and Lord Beerus and I are naturally here to celebrate. Whis said with a smile. Although Beerus was reluctant, he nodded along. Yes, in that case, the grievances between me and Lord Beerus should be considered settled, right? Lu Yu glanced at Beerus and said with a smile. Today is my big day, and no one can make trouble on this day. If Beerus has other ideas, I don't mind letting him stay here forever. Although I am very unwilling, but Whis has already said that there is no way I can be your opponent. Even if I practice for another 1,000 or 10,000 years, I don't think there will be any change. Beerus nodded, and then said with some disappointment. It is indeed very disappointing. This feeling of not being used to others and being unable to beat others is very uncomfortable. Whis is right, you will never surpass me. So don't think about this kind of 120 thing. If you think about it too much, it will only make you feel uncomfortable. Lu Yu said lightly. The visitor is a guest, please enjoy the delicious food, both of you. I don't think you came to Earth just to celebrate me. Perhaps delicious food also has an irresistible temptation for you. Lu Yu knew very well in his heart that these two guys were typical foodies. But they are very poor. Because in the entire 7th universe, there are not many planets that can produce delicious food. And the Earth is the gourmet kingdom of the 7th universe. After they tasted delicious food on the Earth last time, this person is now lingering. But this time, they said it was to congratulate themselves, probably the main purpose is to come and eat. It's just that today, I don't bother to care about these things. Forehead. Beerus' face changed slightly. They do. Especially that guy Whis. He came here simply for the delicious food. Tian Mo Ching probably just talked about it. Of course, I also miss the food of the Earth very much. I haven't been to Earth for a few months, but I'm very hungry. Ho 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 ho, how can Mr. Lu Yu doubt our kindness? Whis smiled awkwardly, and then said. Then the two followed suit. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief seeing that everything was safe and sound. Because everyone knows very well that gods of destruction is the most powerful and top god in a universe. As for Lu Yu, his strength is even higher than that of gods of destruction. If they continue to fight, others are still a little worried. Hey, I said Beerus, didn't Vegeta and Sun Jun go to your place, did you practice? Today is such an important day, why didn't they come? At this time, Bulma and Chi-Chi walked up to Beerus, and then asked questions. They wondered if these two guys left Vegeta and Son Goku behind, so they didn't rush over. And I had already notified them a month ago. TCH, how do I know why they didn't? Why don't you ask him yourself? Beerus glared at Bulma and said. Why are you talking so aggressively? Do you want Lu Yu to teach you a lesson again? Bulma said a little bullying. Judging from the fighting 4 months ago, and the conversations today. Beerus was still very afraid of Lu Yu. So at this time, take out Lu Yu to scare him, it will definitely work. Sure enough, after hearing Bulma's words, although Beerus was very annoyed, he didn't speak again. On a day like today, I really dare not cause trouble. If that guy Lu Yu gets angry, the consequences will be really unimaginable. Ms. Bulma, Mr. Goku and Mr. Vegeta, they are currently training in the God realm. Master Beerus and I also passed them before we came. It's just that both of them said that they need to practice hard. They seem to have no interest in gatherings at all. They hoped to catch up with Mr. Lu Yu's footsteps, so they didn't come. Whis spoke from the side at this time. When these two guys came to Earth for the second time a few months ago, they were pestered by them and brought them to the God realm. Then began to practice. This practice has not come back for several months. There is an attitude of wanting to surpass Mr. Beerus. What? Those two idiots, what are you thinking? Is Mr. Lu Yu's strength so easily surpassed by them? Bulma cursed secretly. In the eyes of the two Saiyans, Vegeta and Son Goku, cultivation seems to be more important than anything else. But it's right to think about it, you must know that it was at my birthday party before. If it wasn't for Beerus's sudden appearance, Vegeta wouldn't have thought of participating. Now it's just that Mr. Lu Yu is getting married, so naturally they won't appear. Ms. Bulma is absolutely right. Although both of them are extremely talented Saiyans, there is a world of difference between them and Mr. Lu Yu. Whis also nodded, and said seriously. Whether it is Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus, or Son Goku and Vegeta, it is probably impossible to surpass Mr. Lu Yu. Even if he is himself, he is not sure of surpassing him. And at this time in the Supreme Kai world, the old Supreme Kai and Supreme Kai Asin himself, Jebet, observe the situation on the earth through the crystal ball. Of course, the main thing is to observe the situation on Lu Yu's side. Since Lu Yu fought Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus last time, they paid special attention to Lu Yu. Hope to know who Lu Yu is. Why can he ignore Gods of Destruction at all? Master Ancestor, Master Beerus also went to Earth to congratulate, should we also go there? Supreme Kai Asen looked at the old Supreme Kai and asked. It can be seen from the attitude of people greater than Beerus towards Lu Yu just now in the crystal ball, that Lu Yu is definitely not simple, except for his strength. Perhaps there are other peculiarities. You're right, we do need to go and celebrate. It's finally a smart one. The old Supreme Kai glanced at Supreme Kai Asen with relief, and said. This guy is usually stupid, but he turned out to be smart today. They do need to go to Earth to celebrate. After all, even Lord Gods of Destruction Beerus has passed. Then they naturally have no reason not to go. By the way, you can find out who this Mr. Lu Yu is. Master Ancestor, grab me, and I will instant transmission over there. Supreme Kai Asen said to the old Supreme Kai. Chapter 81. The wedding is in full swing. At this time, the old Supreme Kai and Supreme Kai Asen and Jebet also came to the wedding scene. It's Lord Supreme Kai. Piccolo and Kling soon discovered the two Supreme Kai and Jebet. Yo, Lord Supreme Kai, I didn't expect you all to come. Son Gohan was also a little surprised. Could it be that Master Supreme Kai knew Mr. Lu Yu before? Well, long time no see, Gohan. Supreme Kai Asen said hello, and then the three walked towards Lu Yu and number 18 together. Mr. Lu Yu, we are here to celebrate your marriage. Supreme Kai Asen looked at Lu Yu and said respectfully. You must know that even Gods of Destruction Beerus dare not be arrogant in front of Lu Yu, so these people, although they are also gods of the same level as Gods of Destruction. But the strength has always been much worse. Even he is so in awe, then these Supreme Kais of his own naturally dare not say anything. Okay, thank you. Here you come, you are a guest, please sit down wherever you want. Looking at the two Supreme Kai and Jebet, Lu Yu said casually. In fact, Lu Yu did not have a good impression of these Supreme Kai. Fortunately, in 2009, they were the Supreme Kai in Dragon Ball, and they performed better than in Dragon Balked. In Dragon Balked, the old Supreme Kai lashes out at Son Goku's people because of the appearance of the evil dragon. It is said that Son Goku and others used Dragon Ball indiscriminately, which caused the appearance of evil dragons. But it never occurred to him that Son Goku wouldn't be using the Dragon Ball so many times if their Supreme Kai had any use at all. Moreover, as gods, they are timid and fearful, and their strength is weak. But in Dragon Ball Super, although he is also timid and afraid of getting into trouble, he has never done anything to make him feel particularly angry. Good. Supreme Kai nodded quickly, then walked towards Beerus and Whis. Anyway, since they are here today, they must say hello to Lord Beerus. Master Beerus, Whis, long time no see. Supreme Kai Asen hurriedly said hello. So it's two Supreme Kai Samas. What, did you and Mr. Lu Yu know each other before? Whis asked with a calm tone. No, we didn't know Mr. Lu before. But we saw that Master Beerus is here, so we came over to say hello. Supreme Kai Asen immediately shook his head and said. Hey, do you guys know the details of Lu Yu? Beerus stared at the two Supreme Kais, then asked indifferently. Although they are all gods of the same level, I never put them in my eyes. So when it comes to speaking, this person also refers to high-spirited. I'm so sorry, Lord Beerus. We don't know the details of Mr. Lu Yu, it was just the first time we met last time. Supreme Kai Asen quickly replied. Although I heard Goku and the others talk about it before, I actually saw Lu Yu when I was fighting Lord Beerus a few months ago. Cut, what on earth do you do? Such a powerful guy appeared in the universe, you, as Supreme Kai, didn't realize it. Beerus stared coldly, and lowered his voice to blame Supreme Kai. Being scolded by Beerus, Supreme Kai subconsciously lowered his head. I don't know what to say, and I don't know how to respond. Because when she was in the Supreme Kai world, she was scolded by her ancestors every day, so he was used to it. And as the weakest and youngest Supreme Kai, his character is a bit timid. And at this time, facing Gods of Destruction again, naturally he didn't dare to speak more. Master Beerus, it is wrong for you to speak like this. We are Supreme Kai, but you are also gods of destruction. We need to govern this universe together. How can you put all the blame on Supreme Kai? It's true that we didn't find Mr. Liu Yu before, but didn't you also miss it? Supreme Kai Axon dared not speak, but it does not mean that the old Supreme Kai also dared not speak. The old Supreme Kai retorted directly. This matter was not their responsibility. Even if it's about them, it's a shared responsibility between Supreme Kai and gods of destruction. Lord Beerus is doing well now, but he actually wants to shift all the responsibility to Supreme Kai. How is this possible? And the reason why he dared to talk to Beerus like this is because he knew very well that even if he offended Beerus, Beerus couldn't do anything to him. After all, gods of destruction and Supreme Kai are linked by fate. If he does kill Supreme Kai, the gods of destruction will die too. It is absolutely impossible for Beerus to do such a thing. More importantly, today is the day of Liu Yu's wedding, so no matter how courageous Beerus is, he would not dare to make trouble here. Last time he fought Liu Yu, he suffered a lot. Isn't it also a broken tooth now, so it can only be swallowed in the stomach? Cut. This old guy is criticizing me, isn't he? Hearing what the old Supreme Kai said, Beerus was obviously quite angry. You must know that Supreme Kai never dared to talk to himself like this before. It's really against the sky to dare to talk to myself so forcefully now. Looks like the old guy hasn't been sealed in the sword long enough. But now, it is obviously not the time to punish him. If he dared to cause trouble here today, maybe Liu Yu would teach him a lesson. At that time, it may really lose face. So I can only endure it. After the old Supreme Kai finished speaking, he ignored Beerus and walked directly towards Son Gohan and those guys. Dealing with them, Kobe and Beerus, is much more comfortable. Time passed by every minute and every second, and many regulations and procedures have almost been completed. But the guests have not left yet, but are enjoying the food. Especially destroying Beerus and Supreme Kai. Originally, there was nothing to eat when staying in the God realm. After finally coming to Earth once, I naturally wanted to eat my fill. And just when everyone is enjoying the food and joy, suddenly, a purple vortex appeared in the sky above the Earth. At the moment when the purple vortex appeared, whether it was gods of destruction Beerus, Angel Whis or Supreme Kai, they all felt a great coercion, their expressions froze suddenly, and then they looked up quickly. At this time, a familiar figure appeared in front of the purple vortex. Wearing a blue uniform, with a golden belt around his waist, there is a big golden character on it. She has silvery white back hair and an angel halo behind her back. And this person is the Grand Priest. Big Grand Priest. The moment they saw Grand Priest, gods of destruction Beerus and Supreme Kai, expressions of horror appeared on their faces. The moment he was at a loss, he quickly knelt down on his knees, so frightened that he didn't dare to lift his head. There was a lot of cold sweat on his face. Grand Priest, why did you come to Earth? Could it be that he also came to congratulate Mr. Liu on his marriage? Impossible. Who is Lord Grand Priest? That is the Supreme God, the strongest existence in the dimensional universe. Even if the owner of Liu Yu is more powerful than gods of destruction, it is absolutely impossible to be seen by the Grand Priest. In the eyes of the Grand Priest, everything is insignificant. Like dust, this is the powerful Liu Yu, the same is true. So why is he doing this? Is it to supervise their work of gods of destruction and see them come to Earth, so come to punish them? Of course, this is just something they suddenly thought of. It doesn't have to be that way either. But if this is the case, they may not be able to eat today. If the Grand Priest gets angry, maybe they will be destroyed in an instant. Lord Grand Priest, Whis is also a deep bow. Others don't know, but I understand very well that the Grand Priest is my father. So even if he doesn't have this identity, he must show enough respect in front of him. Who is that guy? It feels like they are more powerful than gods of destruction and Supreme Kai, and they have a higher position. Keelan and the others were all surprised. Incredible watching gods of destruction and Supreme Kai on their knees. Both Supreme Kai and gods of destruction once said that they are the highest gods in this universe. Why did they show such a frightened look when they saw that little dwarf? That's for sure. You see the deliberate smile on the guy's face, it's clear he's higher than gods of destruction. As for why there are such powerful guys in this universe, I'm not too sure. Even Piccolo, who has always been smarter, frowned and shook his head. He really didn't know who the little man who suddenly appeared in front of him was. But his status is definitely not low. At least surpass gods of destruction and Supreme Kai. My Lord Grand Priest, I didn't know you were here, so I welcome you at a distance, and I hope you will forgive me. Beerus knelt down on the ground and said tremblingly. Master Grand Priest, do you have any advice for coming to Earth of the 7th universe this time? The old Supreme Kai also hurriedly said. You know, a big man like Grand Priest is a busy man. And there are 12 universes that need to be managed by them, so they will not appear in any universe for no reason. Now it actually appeared in the 7th universe. That must be something important to do. Grand Priest didn't pay attention to their words, but looked at Lu Yu. Lu Yu, what's going on here? Who is that little dwarf? Why does everyone seem to be afraid of him? Number 18 was also a little nervous and asked nervously. Look at gods of destruction Beerus and Supreme Kai, how much respect they have for that little guy. That guy is absolutely terrifying. Because Rui said that after seeing Lu Yu, they didn't show such a scared expression. He also seems to have guessed why Lu Yu was unhappy a few days ago. Could it be that he has always been worried about not being able to marry himself? It was because he was afraid that these guys would hold him accountable. It has to be said that the woman's mind is indeed more careful, and she quickly guessed Lu Yu's worries a few days ago. When he said this, number 18 held Lu Yu's hand tightly, as if to comfort him. It seems to be saying again, I will carry anything with you, because I am your woman now. It's okay, don't worry. I can handle anything. Lu Yu patted No 18's hand lightly, signaling her not to be so nervous. With his current strength, although he is not as powerful as Grand Priest. But it is not so easy for him to defeat himself. More importantly, no matter what thoughts they have behind their backs, or are they premeditating something. But he is now a Zeno candidate anyway. Apart from Zeno, the Grand Priest is not qualified to punish himself. Even if it is to be punished, it must be approved by Zeno. Afterwards, Lu Yu walked towards the Grand Priest step by step. Then he raised his head and said, Grand Priest can come to my humble house on my big day, it really makes my place flourish. Lu Yu was smiling. After hearing Lu Yu's words, Grand Priest's body appeared in front of Lu Yu. Then he also smiled first and said, Isn't it inappropriate not to tell Mr. Zeno such a big event as Mr. Lu Yu's marriage? Obviously, there was a bit of displeasure in his tone. Isn't it just a trivial matter, why bother Master Zeno? Lu Yu said lightly. Master Zeno, you have a lot of work to do every day, and you have to turn around so many universes, so you don't have to bother Master Zeno with such trivial matters. However, I didn't expect that a busy person like Grand Priest could come today. If I told them in advance, would these guys still let me get married? Mr. Lu Yu, you must always remember your identity. How can you get married as a candidate for Zeno? Mono Kai. Grand Priest seemed to have used some kind of ability, so although his voice remained the same, others couldn't hear what he said at all. Only Lu Yu can hear clearly. Who stipulates that Zeno candidates cannot get married? If the Grand Priest really came to congratulate today, then I am very welcome. If you don't sincerely congratulate, please go back because of the priest. Lu Yu didn't give Grand Priest any face at all. The Grand Priest in the Dragon Ball supermarket is indeed amiable all the time, and looks like a good person. But in front of the Grand Priest in the real world, this guy always feels a bit cloudy. Especially for himself, he always reveals a sense of disgust. What's more, after the 11th universe kills Vermut himself, he seems to loathe himself even more. What, you fool, what did you say just now? He actually let Lord Grand Priest go back, is he so reckless? Grand Priest didn't get angry yet, but Beerus and the others were already so frightened that their faces were livid, and their whole bodies were almost prostrate on the ground. That's why I know that Lu Yu is extremely arrogant, but he dares to speak like this in front of the strongest Grand Priest in the universe. Maybe you take yourself too seriously, don't you? Grand Priest, if you want to destroy him, it's a breeze. Oh, it seems that this Mr. Lu Yu is really a bit unusual, he dared to speak like that in front of his father. This is also a side note, his god position is definitely not low. Maybe he knows that the Grand Priest can't do anything to him, that's why he's so defiant. Whis also looked at Lu Yu in surprise. Although he already guessed that Lu Yu is definitely not simple. But judging from the current situation, he knew his father before, and he didn't seem to be afraid of his father. But in this dimensional universe, except for Mr. Zeno, no one is above his father at all. I haven't heard of this Lu Yu since I was born. Why is he so arrogant? It's over, it's really over. If it's just coming to Earth, Master Grand Priest, even if he can deal with it, he probably won't deal with it too much. But now, this one has completely offended Lord Grand Priest, so we will definitely be implicated. Beerus was trembling with fright, cold sweat dripping from his forehead. He was very scared indeed. Because Grand Priest is completely different from himself. This guy can offend himself because he has that kind of strength. Even if you offend yourself, or even humiliate yourself, there is nothing you can do. But Lord Grand Priest is different, he is the most powerful god in this world. As long as he waved his hand, he could completely disappear a universe from this world. Whether it is human beings or gods, they will disappear completely. The one in front of me is too reckless. What he did, not only AJBC, harmed himself, even everyone will be buried with him. Master Ancestor, what should we do now? If you really pissed off the Grand Priest, I guess there will be no good end for us. Supreme Kai Asen is more exaggerated than Beerus. His body was already trembling violently, and the ground beneath him was drenched with sweat. You know, a mere Majin Buu can scare him half to death. And the Grand Priest in front of him is definitely not the same dimension as Majin Buu. Even Gods of Destruction Beerus is a dimension higher than Majin Buu. Not to mention Master Grand Priest who is countless times stronger than Master Beerus. Nonsense, do you think I don't know these things? But what can we do now? Lu Yu's strength is not comparable to ours, and we dare not offend Mr. Grand Priest. We can only wait and see what happens, and hope nothing major will happen. The old Supreme Kai cursed secretly and said, now things have progressed to the point where they can't intervene, and they are not qualified to intervene. Lu Yu didn't give Grand Priest any face just now, although it seems that Grand Priest's expression hasn't changed much. But he definitely doesn't think so in his heart. As the highest god in this universe, he naturally has his own arrogance and dignity. It is unbearable to be treated like this by Lu Yu now. It's just that they can't do anything about this kind of thing now, they can only wait for the result. If Lord Grand Priest really wanted to deal with them in the end, then they could only admit that they were unlucky, and there was no other way. At this time, the others were already trembling with fear, but Grand Priest's face did not change much. Because he expected a long time ago that this fellow Lu Yu would not give himself face at all. He knew it the last time in the 11th universe. I told him not to kill the Gods of Destruction Vermut of the 11th universe, but he insisted on killing it. So this guy is too arrogant, and he didn't listen to his words at all. So now that he can say such words, he doesn't feel strange at all. Mr. Lu Yu, of course I'm not here to congratulate. I think you understand your current status better than anyone else, and this status does not allow you to get married like a normal person. You are blatantly getting married now, and as a Grand Priest, I have the right to stop you. Grand Priest said lightly. Then, he glanced at Beerus and Supreme Kai and the others, and then his tone became indifferent. There are three of you, Gods of Destruction and Supreme Kai who are a Fang universe. Your responsibilities should be clear to you, right? I didn't expect to be able to join in the fun with this group of planets now. It seems that you don't take your responsibilities to heart at all. And Angel Whis, your duty is to guide and assist Gods of Destruction. Look at what you have done now. Not only did you fail to guide Gods of Destruction to do the right thing, but you actually accompanied him to the earth. And hearing the accusation from Grand Priest, Beerus and Supreme Kai turned even worse. A strong murderous aura rushed over in an instant. They feel that they may completely disappear from this world all the time. Although they are the supreme gods of the universe, they can only be regarded as dust in front of the Grand Priest. He wants to erase. Very simple. Grand Priest, please forgive me. Quote. We actually came to Earth too. Beerus turned pale, and wanted to think of a way to explain it, but after thinking for a long time, he couldn't think of a reasonable explanation. Because the purpose of his coming here was to eat and drink, and to get married with Lu Yu by the way. So for a while, there is no good rhetoric at all. And if he cheated the Grand Priest, then there may be more charges. As for the two Supreme Kai, they don't want to explain at all. For all their explanations are in vain. Now it seems that because the priest deliberately vented his anger on them. So no matter how they explain it, it is not a reasonable reason. Looking at Supreme Kai and Gods of Destruction Beerus who were extremely nervous, Whis could only bite the bullet and take a step forward and said, Lord Grand Priest, the thing is, I asked Lord Beerus to come here. So this matter has nothing to do with Lord Beerus. In fact, this matter was originally what Whis wanted to come, and Beerus had no such plan in the first place. And Whis' idea is very simple, he doesn't mean to please Lu Yu, but because he just wants to taste the delicious food of the earth. Today is Lu Yu's wedding day, so there must be a lot of food. That's why I let Lord Beerus come over. He didn't want Lord Beerus to take the blame for this matter. What, was this your idea, Whis? Do you remember our angel's duty? Always stand in neutral. Gods of Destruction naturally has Gods of Destruction's decision. Angel only assists Gods of Destruction, absolutely cannot help Gods of Destruction make any decisions. Looks like you've forgotten all about these angels' laws, all of them. The Grand Priest's voice became even more indifferent. He really didn't expect that this matter was actually thought of by Whis. Whis and Vados are angels that I am more optimistic about, and they are likely to inherit their positions in the future. But I didn't expect Whis to be so confused today. I'm really sorry, my lord. I haven't forgotten Angel's law of neutrality. It's my fault that I was a little hungry for a while, so I wanted to come to the earth to find delicious food. If Master Grand Priest wants to punish, just punish me. Although Whis is usually calm, but seeing Grand Priest angry, he is naturally very scared. You must know that since I became an angel, I have rarely seen my father get angry. I don't know why today, but he will personally pursue this kind of thing. It is definitely because of Lu Yu, otherwise, as a Grand Priest, he would not have come at all, set back Gods of Destruction and Supreme Kai for no reason. It doesn't suit who he is. So, who is Lu Yu? Why does he make the Grand Priest care so much? This guy is definitely not simple. It is even possible that his position is not weaker than Grand Priest. Because from just now, he obviously knows the existence of the Grand Priest. But it doesn't mean to be afraid of the Grand Priest at all. If he was just Gods of Destruction, or a slightly stronger position than Gods of Destruction, he would definitely not be so indifferent. Even just now, he had given the Grand Priest an eviction order. Even if this is placed on their angel, they absolutely dare not say this. Just for the food. Whis, what you did really disappointed me a bit. You forgot the angel's law and ran here to find delicious food. Do you think this is what an angel should do? Grand Priest continued to ask. I'm so sorry, my lord. I really didn't expect something like this to happen, and I'm really sorry. Whis can only give in quickly. But there was still a little bit of discomfort in his heart. I am also an angel at any rate, and I have been assisting Gods of Destruction for hundreds of millions of years. I just ate a little bit of delicious food now. Is it necessary to be so furious because of the priest? Forget it, I don't have time to argue with you yet. Grand Priest glanced at Whis. He didn't come for Whis this time. Then he turned his head to look at Lu Yu, and said, Mr. Lu Yu, it seems that you didn't pay attention to what I just said. Since you agreed to that position, then you are absolutely not allowed to marry a human being. This is God's law. I think you should be very clear. Even if Lord Zeno knows about this matter, he will definitely not favor you. The main purpose of the Grand Priest is to come for Lu Yu. As for punishing Gods of Destruction or Whis, it's just to beat Lu Yu. Let him know that this Grand Priest of his is by no means a display. It is definitely not as simple as a little butler. Have it. When you let me take this position, you never told me that you can't get married. If you had told me then, maybe I would have refused. Lu Yu is not afraid of the Grand Priest at all. This guy doesn't like himself, and it's not about 10 or 2 husbands. In the past 10 years, she has been displeased with herself. But so what, unless he really killed himself. But without Zeno's intention, he probably wouldn't do it. Mr. Lu Yu, you are really becoming more and more eloquent now. I've made it clear to you now that becoming a god is the price. Even if Master Zeno is here, it is something that cannot be changed. Grand Priest's eyes and complexion became more and more ugly. He never thought that someone would dare to talk to him like this. This is definitely the first time in history. 20 years ago, this guy was just an ordinary human being. In my eyes, it is as small as a speck of dust. I can completely crush it to death at will. Let's talk about it later. Master Zeno, I don't think he should be so inhuman. As I said just now, a god is more than an adult. If you are simply here to congratulate, then I welcome it very much. If the Grand Priest can tell me some god's principles, then I know it. Don't bother, Grand Priest personally reminded me, if there is nothing else, please come back. Lu Yu really issued an order to evict the guest this time. The Grand Priest obviously found an opportunity, and then came to scold and even punish himself. How could I allow his wish to come true? Good, very good. Mr. Lu Yu has already made up his mind, that would be great. However, this matter will not end so soon. Grand Priest's tone was cold. In fact, to be honest, Lu Yu is Zeno's candidate no matter what, and I really have nothing to do with him. However, although I have nothing to do with Lu Yu, but for others, it's different. Then, he looked at Gods of Destruction and Supreme Kai, and said in a cold tone, "You guys, how dare you even come here to be free and easy? I didn't take the responsibility of God in my heart at all, so now, I have to replace all of you. Of course, what's the cost of replacing Gods of Destruction? I think you guys know knives better than anyone." What? Replace Gods of Destruction and Supreme Kai? Master Grand Priest, you must not be joking. How is this possible? We are only here on Earth. This is also one of our responsibilities. We are also understanding the situation of the Earth. How can you do this? Beerus and the two Supreme Kais panicked. I was so frightened that cold sweat dripped down my face. To be honest, as gods, they naturally know better than anyone what it means to replace Gods of Destruction and Supreme Kai. It is not simply to remove their positions, but to kill them completely. And once they are destroyed by Master Zeno and Grand Priest, they will never have a chance to be resurrected. Although they are the highest gods of a universe, they have lived for billions of years, but they are more afraid of death than anyone else. It is because has lived for a long time, and they have never thought about death. So when they look directly at death, they will show more fear than anyone else. Even Angel Whis frowned slightly. To be honest, I have been with Master Beerus for so long, if I kill him suddenly, I really feel a little bit reluctant. And more importantly, he came to Earth this time because he encouraged Master Beerus to come. If Master Beerus is implicated in this incident and is known to Grand Priest, then you will definitely feel very guilty. Master Grand Priest, this matter really has nothing to do with Lord Beerus. If you want to punish, just punish me. Whis naturally didn't want Beerus to suffer for him. So hurry up and say it to the Grand Priest. Although he knew very well that even if he was the child of the Grand Priest, he would not show any mercy when punishing him. Whis, do you really think I won't punish you? There is still a lot of time to punish you. After I go back, I will slowly punish you according to Angel's rules. But today, the Supreme Kai and Gods of Destruction of the 7th universe have to be replaced. Grand Priest glanced at Whis, then said coldly, "Today, I have to give Lu Yu a blow, otherwise he would think that his Grand Priest is just a display. Lord Grand Priest, please forgive us. The main purpose of our visit this time is to congratulate Mr. Lu Yu. This is not a violation of God's rules." Supreme Kai Asen said quickly. "Although I am a god, there is no rule that gods cannot have friends. Since you have friends, then you must also go for a walk with them." Unexpectedly, the dignified Grand Priest would lose his temper for such a trivial matter. And what's even more exasperating is that they can't resist at all. If the Grand Priest wanted to destroy them, it would be easy. Grand Priest doesn't even look at you at Supreme Kai Asen, it's obvious that he's not taken seriously at all. As for the other Earth warriors, they all looked at the Grand Priest with serious faces. I don't know who this little man is, but he has the right to kill Gods of Destruction and Supreme Kai, which is absolutely extraordinary. But Supreme Kai can be regarded as their friend anyway. If they really do something, are they considering whether to help? Of course, in fact, everyone knows it very well. People who can scare the gods of destruction into such a state are definitely not something they can deal with. They went up to help, because the owner of the house struck a stone with a pebble. Lu Yu, what should we do now? Today is our day of great joy. Does this person have to kill people today? Also, although I don't like that Beerus and those two Supreme Kais, they all came to congratulate us anyway. I would also feel guilty if they were killed like this. Number 18 hugged Lu Yu's arm tightly, and then spoke softly. Anyway, today's words, the visitor is the guest. Now that they are here, their safety must be guaranteed. You're right, although I don't like these two guys very much. However, they are also today's guests, and they came to congratulate us on our wedding. If I let the Grand Priest kill them like this, won't I lose face in the future? Lu Yu also smiled lightly. In the past, my impression of Grand Priest was definitely that kind of superhuman, truly strong existence. I wouldn't get angry over such a trivial matter at all. But in real life, Grand Priest is completely different from what I imagined. This guy can't get revenge. Don't start punishing gods of destruction and Supreme Kai. Firstly, it was to vent their anger, and secondly, it was probably to give myself a blow. But things are not that simple. Hey, you three stand up for me. Today you all came to give me blessings, how decent is it to kneel on the ground? Or, do you just like kneeling so much? Lu Yu glanced at Beerus and the three of them, then spoke calmly. Even if I wait for a while to fight Grand Priest, I must leave Gods of Destruction Beerus and Supreme Kai today. Here's a chance to get Beerus dead set. Although with his strength, he might not be able to play a big role, but mosquito legs are also meat, and it is better to have than to have nothing. What? Beerus and the two Supreme Kais looked at Lu Yu in surprise. He actually made the three of them stand up. After being surprised, he turned his gaze to Grand Priest. After Grand Priest heard Lu Yu's words, his face seemed to be even more gloomy. Don't look at him, that guy wants to kill you all, do you still expect him to let you go? The best solution for these people is to say what they say, and it's hard to follow them. Seeing the pitiful appearance of the three of Beerus, Lu Yu spoke again. Now that the Grand Priest has made such a decision, he will never let Beerus and the others go easily. Even if they knelt on the ground and begged, it would have no effect at all. I'll give you one more chance, stand up, I can keep you alive, and you can keep doing your Gods of Destruction and Supreme Kai. Lu Yu spoke again. This is the last chance I give them. If they don't believe in themselves, then let them fend for themselves. After hearing Lu Yu's words, Beerus and the two Supreme Kais met each other. The old Supreme Kai frowned, then stood up directly, and was by Lu Yu's side. He is very clear that it is absolutely impossible to change what Yin Shenyi said. He had said he would kill all three of them, and that would be the case. Although he does not believe that Lu Yu has the strength to compete against Grand Priest, but now he has no choice. There is only one way. Master Ancestor. Supreme Kai and Jebit took a look at the old ancestor's decision, and then at the Grand Priest. Then he got up firmly, and walked behind Lu Yu. Since even the ancestors chose Lu Yu, there is absolutely no mistake, even if they are wrong, at most they will die together. You three. Beerus seemed a little confused. He didn't expect the three Supreme Kai to be more courageous than himself. So quickly chose to stand in line. But he also knew very well in his heart that if he didn't decide now, he might be eliminated directly. Grand Priest, since you have said that, it is absolutely impossible to take it back. Then my only choice now is Lu Yu. I hope that Lu Yu has the ability to really protect them. Otherwise, they are still doomed. After struggling for a while, Beerus also walked directly behind Nuo Yu. Master Lu Yu, from now on, we will only obey you. Beerus said very respectfully, because from the moment he chose to stand in line, he had already entrusted his wealth and life to Lu Yu. If he can't protect himself, then he really has only a dead end. Very well, you all made your choices, but I'm not sure if your choices were good or bad. But what is certain is that you don't have to die today. Lu Yu really cannot guarantee their complete safety. But today, I will never let anyone touch them. Even if the opponent is a Grand Priest, it is also not allowed. Gods of Destruction Beerus and both Supreme Kais nodded. In fact, according to Grand Priest, he can kill all three of them now. But at least, if you follow Lu, you can live until tomorrow. Maybe things will take another turn. Master Beerus, have you really made up your mind? A decision like this could make you disappear completely. Whis glanced at Beerus, then frowned slightly, and said. In fact, she is still unwilling to go around Beerus and choose Lu Yu, because she can ask her father to let him be lenient. And maybe keep Beerus alive. But since the moment he started standing in line and standing behind Lu Yu, things have not changed for the better. My Lord Father will definitely wipe them out completely. It is estimated that even if anyone blocks it, it will not help. Whis, haven't you found out yet? If I don't choose Lu Yu, he will make me disappear completely now. I'm really sorry, to be honest, I'm afraid of death, and I don't want to die. So I chose to take a gamble, and I won. Maybe I still have a chance to live. If I lose the bet greater than A, it's nothing more than death. Beerus also looked at Whis with a serious face, and said. In fact, although she usually jokes with Whis, she really regards Whis as a real master in her heart. So at this time, he also felt rather tangled. But there is no way, I want to live. And this matter was originally Whis making himself sad, and Whis himself admitted this matter, but Grand Priest obviously did not want to deal with Whis's decision. Instead, deal with a few of them. This way of dealing with it made me feel very unfair and uncomfortable. All right, if that's the case, then I have nothing to say. Whis could only nod his head. Because he knew very well that what his Lord Father said just now might have frightened Lord Beerus and the others. And more importantly, even if you plead with your father, it may not be effective. Because after all, in this matter, he will also be punished. So he probably doesn't want to listen to his own words now. Okay, you guys are really brave. It seems that I underestimated you a little bit before, and dared to openly resist my order. Grand Priest had a tepid look on his face, and his tone was very flat. It's just that in those eyes, there is indeed a murderous intent. Originally, Lu Yu made me feel angry, and he was just a mere boxing champion candidate. To be more precise, he is just a puppet. How dare you be so presumptuous in front of yourself? It's just because of his duty in Master Zeno's face, so I didn't touch him now. I didn't expect this guy to push his nose on his face. Now he dared to confront him openly, and he wanted to give him a blow and kill gods of destruction and Supreme Kai. But was blocked by this guy. Does he really think that he has the strength to compete with himself? Just a mere human being, in only 20 years, does he think he can surpass himself? What was even more exasperating was that gods of destruction and Beerus chose to stand in front of Lu Yu. This means that these guys have completely rebelled, and I have the right to completely eliminate them. In any case, let them know today that there is no good end for offending themselves. Although Beerus had already chosen their team, they had already made their own choice in their hearts. But after seeing the killing intent in Grand Priest's eyes, he still couldn't help but tremble. After all, for hundreds of millions of years, that kind of fear has been deeply ingrained. It cannot be eliminated easily. Master Lu Yu, can you protect me? Or, now can you tell us who you really are? Beerus looked at Lu Yu and asked very seriously. In fact, he has always been very curious about this matter. Just who is Lu Yu? Not only does he have a strength that far surpasses that of Angel. Now even the Grand Priest is ignored, and even openly opposed to him. If he is not the god of this universe, then I absolutely do not believe it. Without certain capital and priesthood, Lu Yu would never dare to compete with the Grand Priest like this. Are you all curious too? Lu Yu glanced at number 18 and Supreme Kai. They are definitely very curious in their hearts, and it is estimated that even the number 18 who married themselves is the same. They just didn't want to explore their privacy, so they never asked. Although no one spoke, they were indeed very curious. What is Lu Yu's identity? All right, then let me tell you clearly today. My identity is a Zeno candidate. Lu Yu's voice was not loud, but it was clearly heard by everyone present. Especially when Beerus and Supreme Kai heard it, they were so frightened that they knelt down on the spot. Candidate, Master Zeno. Both Beerus and Supreme Kai trembled. My heart was aroused even more violently. They couldn't believe that Lu Yu would be a Zeno candidate. Beerus said that he actually had a fight with Master Lu Yu before, and when he was boastful. At this moment, I felt chills in my heart, if Master Lu Yu was unhappy at that time, he probably would have understood himself completely by then. The candidate of Master Zeno is absolutely qualified to deal with the gods of destruction. Master Lu Yu, I am truly sorry. Forgive me for my recklessness and ignorance a few months ago. Beerus quickly knelt down on the ground and said to Lu Yu. At this moment, he finally understood why Lu Yu was so confident and dared to challenge Grand Priest. That's because he has that ability and that right. It turns out that Master Lu Yu is a candidate for Master Zeno. In the past, I always guessed that his god position must not be low, but now it seems that it is indeed the case. But this is a result I never expected. When did Master Zeno choose a candidate for himself? Whis was also full of bewilderment. He had guessed before that Lu Yu might be some powerful god. But he never thought of being a candidate for Master Zeno. In this way, it is not surprising that he dared to talk to his father like this, and even dared to confront his father tit for tat. As Zeno's candidate, he does have a lot of power. Meet Master Candidate Zeno. At this moment, Whis hurried up to Lu Yu and bowed respectfully. Anyway, if he is really a candidate for Master Zeno, then he is his subordinate. So there has to be enough ought to be shown. Even, his relationship with his father doesn't look good. Okay, whisper. Didn't you see that me and your father are in trouble like this? Don't say hello to me, or your narrow-minded father may punish you when you go back. Lu Yu said to Whis indifferently. My impression of Whis has always been good, if I was really punished by the Grand Priest for this kind of thing. I still feel a little guilty. This. Whis looked embarrassed, but what Master Lu Yu said was really for his own sake. And you, Beerus, those who don't know don't blame. I don't mean to blame you for the battle a few months ago. If I was angry at that time, do you think you can still stand and live until now? Get up, all of you. From today onwards, I will ask Mr. Zeno to give me the management of the entire universe. In this way, I can also protect your safety. Lu Yu glanced at Beerus, and then said to the others. I really had the intention of accepting Beerus at that time. Mosquito legs are also meat, and Beerus's strength is no longer there, so he should be able to do something for himself. Yes, Master Lu Yu is absolutely right. If I had made you angry at that time, I might not be able to breathe alive by then. Beerus nodded awkwardly. Now I think of my smug expression a few months ago, it was still in front of candidate Zeno-sama. At this moment, I really want to slap myself a few times, and then tell myself that I am so blind. Forgive me, I have been hiding it all this time. It's my fault for hiding it for such a long time, but I really need to hide this identity. It's really impossible to say it today. Lu Yu looked at number 18 and said apologetically. In fact, after I came back this time, I didn't want to hide the 18th anymore, I wanted to tell her everything. But this matter came and went, and it was completely forgotten. It's okay, I can understand you. Actually, what you bear is much heavier than what I bear. Number 18 said softly. Her tenderness can only be shown when she is by Lu Yu's side. With others, it is still as cold as ice. Dad, what the heck does Zeno's candidate mean? Is it very powerful? Why have I never heard of it? At this moment, the two little guys beside number 17 asked curiously. Number 17 looked embarrassed, because he didn't know how to answer. From what they said, they didn't even know about Zeno's candidates. Even such a powerful god as the gods of destruction, he only learned about it a few months ago. So he really couldn't answer this question. So Dad didn't know. Then I'd better ask my uncle. The two little guys smiled at number 17, and then walked directly in front of Lu Yu. Uncle, do you think Zeno's candidate is a very high position? There is a classmate in our class, and his father is the head teacher. Is his uncle as tall as my classmate's father? That classmate teacher is showing off in front of us. The two little guys surrounded Lu Yu, and asked curiously. Master, my status is much higher than theirs. You have to remember that your uncle is the most powerful existence in this world. As long as I am here, no one dares to bully you. Also, you can cause any trouble, and I can make it up for you. Lu Yu rubbed the heads of the two little guys, and then said extremely protectively. After possessing such a powerful strength, why not even protect one's shortcomings? Besides, the two little guys are quite close to themselves. Yay, uncle is the best. Quote, Next time when the classmate in our class is showing off, I will also show off with my uncle. Although what Lu Yu taught the children just now may not be correct. But no one came out to refute. Some people dare not. As for the 17th and 18th, they just think that Lu Yu is doting on two children. As an elder, it is normal to spoil children. And looking at the attitude of those gods towards Lu Yu does have that capital. Even if the entire earth is destroyed, he may be able to regenerate it. It can also destroy the entire earth and even the entire universe in an instant. At this time, the Grand Priest was left aside, his face becoming more and more ugly. Lu Yu, are you really going to help them both? You're just well done, a Zeno candidate, are you serious about doing this? Grand Priest asked indifferently. It can be regarded as giving Lu Yu another chance. If he is wiser, he can save his life. I've said it before, I'm going to protect the two of them. What? Grand Priest wants to do something here. If yes, then I can also just try to see if my scavenging law works for the Grand Priest. Lu Yu also looked at Grand Priest seriously. Since I have saved gods of destruction and Supreme Kai, I will naturally not regret it, if Grand Priest wants to start a battle with me because of this matter. I am not afraid at all. Just to give it a try, is the removal rule useful for Officer Angel? What? What are you kidding? You are just a Zeno candidate, how could you use the law of elimination? Absolutely impossible. After hearing Lu Yu's words, a look of horror appeared on Grand Priest's face. According to what I know about Lu Yu, this guy will never be lost for no reason. In other words, it is very likely that he has really mastered Master Zeno's scavenging ability. But this is absolutely impossible, because Master Zeno has never taught about this knowledge and ability. Although he is a candidate Zeno, Master Zeno will never teach him his housekeeping skills. So how did he learn it? Lu Yu, don't lie to me again, it is absolutely impossible for you to master the clearing ability. I think you should also be very clear that this ability can only be used by Master Zeno, and you are not worthy to use it. Grand Priest stared at Lu Yu with burning eyes, as if he wanted to see other things from his eyes. He wants to make sure this guy is not deceiving himself. But the ending made him a little disappointed. Lu Yu's eyes were very firm and very confident. This shows that he was not lying at all. But why? Why would he erase the ability? Could it be that Master Zeno taught him secretly? This is absolutely impossible, because I am always by Master Zeno's side. They have absolutely no chance of that. And more importantly, how fierce the boxing champions are without their abilities, it is so simple to learn and experience. It will be impossible to comprehend for a while. Am I unworthy? So what, but now I have mastered this ability. What's the matter? Master Grand Priest wants to try it. Actually, I'm also very interested. I know that Master Grand Priest is powerful, but I don't know if it can resist Master Zeno's ability to clear it. Lu Yu shrugged, then said calmly. From Grand Priest's surprised expression, it can be known that maybe he is really afraid of Zeno's ability to clear. Something to get carried away with. Even if you really mastered the clearing ability, so what? Because then is it really the Grand Priest's opponent? Don't take the Grand Priest too simply, or you will suffer. Grand Priest's complexion has become completely gloomy, and the touch is like extremely cooked pork liver. Your nonsense is really not ordinary. I told you just now, if you are not tired of congratulations, then please leave here immediately. Maybe you haven't discovered that no one here seems to welcome you, including your child. Lu Yu and I don't want to be dragged down like this with Grand Priest. Because if it goes on like this, it will only mess up your own wedding. If this guy still remembers the clearing ability in his body, then he should leave here well. Lest there be time to go to war. From the look in his eyes just now, it can be seen that he is definitely afraid of his ability to clear. But as for his clearing ability, whether he can be killed directly, this is an unknown. And to be honest, I might not dare to kill the Grand Priest right now. Anyway, this guy's status is very honorable, and the relationship between him and Zeno seems to be good. If he killed him directly, the situation would be very bad. Maybe Zeno will blame him at that time, but I can't afford it. Although I now have the ability to clear Zeno, but compared with Zeno, there is still a big gap between myself and Zeno. Don't look at his usual silly clothes and childish appearance. But if you really think about this guy like this, then you are completely wrong. It is actually that easy to be a master of time and space. It is definitely not enough to rely solely on his erasing ability, and his own strength Ajay cannot be underestimated. Otherwise, the Grand Priest would not have treated her so respectfully. If you think about it a little bit, you can know that Zeno is an unfathomable existence. I really thought about it before, playing with such a stupid guy is lowering my IQ. But what I call stupid is only in Zeno's form. If he turned into a real god form, it would definitely be different. So the fear of Zeno far exceeds that of Grand Priest. Because such a person is the most difficult to guess. You will never know what is going on in his heart. This is exactly his danger. Lu Yu has been thinking, why did Zeno let himself be the candidate for this position? It's just that he couldn't figure out the answer to this question. 3 times Ruan issued an order to expel guests, and the great god became green. I have lived for hundreds of millions of years, and no one has ever dared to talk to me like this. Even Lord Zeno would respect me 3 points. If he really becomes a Zeno at that time, then my own Grand Priest is probably dispensable, right? Such a thing should never be found. So while now, I must get rid of this guy as soon as possible. Keeping him from being a real Zeno. Today is just a very good opportunity to eradicate him completely. At that time, even if Master Zeno asks, he hasn't made any mistakes recently. Because as a candidate for Zeno, you cannot marry a human being. Just this one, I have reasons to eradicate him. Too arrogant, Lu Yu. If you hide your edge and develop slowly, maybe after a while, I really have nothing to do with you. But now, the real threat is coming to me, so I absolutely can't tolerate you. Grand Priest used superpowers, so only he and Lu Yu could hear this kind of words clearly. Others can't hear it at all. Because of this, you can't let other people hear it. Why, then you mean to insist on making trouble at my wedding? I advise you to better not do this. Because if you do this, one day I will kill you. Lu Yu's eyes also became incomparably cold, and he had already ordered him to leave 3 times. If this guy insists on making trouble, then I will never let him go. Even if his current strength is not as good as him, even if he fears Zeno. Even if I try my best, I will completely injure him to death. What are you kidding? If you want to kill me, is it up to you? Let's not talk about whether you have mastered the ability to erase. Even if you have mastered it, do you think you can really destroy me? Grand Priest obviously still didn't take Lu Yu seriously. Perhaps what you said is right. Even if there are rules of destruction in my body, it may not be able to destroy you. But so what? Since you have provoked trouble, one day, I will definitely kill you. Maybe you don't believe it, and it's nothing, I don't need your belief. Lu Yu is still, the tone is very calm. This is my promise, as long as Grand Priest makes a move today, then one day I will definitely meet him. Unless he kills himself today, otherwise, he will surely die. You threatened me. I've never heard such a stupid thing, and no one has dared to threaten me. Grand Priest shot a killing chicken in his eyes, and said to Lu Yu. To be honest, even Lord Zeno is somewhat afraid of him, and he doesn't dare to kill himself at all. What's more, Amir Lu Yu actually uttered such brazen words. I didn't threaten you, I just made it clear to you. As long as you dare to do something today, one day I will break your neck with my own hands. You can choose not to believe it, but we can take a gamble. I bet you can't kill me today, and I also bet that if you dare to do something today, I will definitely kill you. A slight smile appeared on Lu Yu's calm face, and he looked very relaxed and said to Grand Priest. And he was sure that Grand Priest couldn't kill himself today. Are you provoking me? I have to say that you are very successful. After billions of years, you are still the first person to anger me. But the consequences of angering me are not something you can bear. The moment Grand Priest's voice fell, the body suddenly disappeared and disappeared. For others, the fast ones seemed to disappear entirely. Even Angel Whis can't see Grand Priest's body at all. It's your choice. Lu Yu gritted his teeth, and then an extremely powerful force zone suddenly burst out from his body. This force directly wrapped everyone in it, and then sent it thousands of miles away. And he punched Grand Priest's fist. The moment the 2 fists touched, it was as if the whole world was silent. Afterwards, Lu Yu's body directly retreated a distance of several hundred kilometers. Boom. And almost in the next second, the earth suddenly exploded. Instantly turned into powder. Fortunately, Lu Yu's energy barrier is very strong, and the others are not affected at all. You didn't die. It seems that there is still a little problem with my assessment of your strength. Looking at Lu Yu, who was not injured but retreated a few hundred feet, Grand Priest said coldly. Originally, I thought that my punch would not be able to kill Lu Yu, but at least it should seriously injure him. But now it seems that not only was this guy not killed, he was not even seriously injured. You must know that this guy was only able to fight with Zeno's guards before. But in such a short period of time, his strength has improved so much. I have to say that this guy's cultivation is indeed a genius. If he is allowed to continue to practice, it is estimated that time will come, and he is really no match for him. If you want to kill me with this kind of fist, you probably look down on me too much, don't you? Show me your true strength. Lu Yu flexed his fist a little, and said to Grand Priest. Although he was not injured, he could still feel the numbness from the fist after the collision. It's really courting death. Don't think I really can't do anything about you. After Grand Priest's voice fell, he slammed his palm out of thin air. At that moment, the overwhelming power of the 10 amines rushed towards his face like the entire hand song. To be more precise, it feels like several universes are smashing at themselves at the same time. Very dangerous feeling. Quote. After feeling the huge pressure, Lu Yu just said something lightly. Immediately afterwards, the overwhelming sense of oppression disappeared without a trace in an instant. It's as if it never existed in this universe. Although this is the power of the Grand Priest, it is still invincible in the face of clearing the rules. This one has actually mastered the rule power of clearing. How is this possible? Master Zeno taught him secretly. If that's the case, Zeno-sama is a little too partial. He actually gave the power to clear the rules to this one. If this is the case, it is probably a little impossible for me to use some of my Grand Priest's power to kill him. Because any power of oneself will be easily eliminated by it. In this case, if you want to kill him, you must rely on pure strength. In this way, if the two of them fight, it is estimated that the entire universe will be destroyed. At that time, I am afraid that I will not be able to explain to Master Zeno. Although with his own ability, even if all the universes destroy him, he can restore him again. But if you destroy it with your own power, or with Zeno's law, it cannot be repaired by itself. What's wrong, Grand Priest? Are you getting scared? I told you already, but you can't believe it. To be honest, the punch just now made my blood boil. The corner of Lu Yu's mouth raised, revealing a bloodthirsty arc. Although in the past 20 years, I have also played against many people. Among them are 2 of Zeno's bodyguards. But it has never been so hot as it is now. Whether it's for Jiren and the others to fight, or to fight with Zeno's guards, it's just playing with them. Never really fought at all. But now, I am fighting with the will to kill. So the mentality is naturally different. Almost as soon as the sound fell, Lu Yu's body flashed out, and he was in front of Grand Priest in an instant. A stormy attack followed, and fists rained down on Grand Priest. Whoosh whoosh. Every punch of Lu Yu made the air rustle, and the whole universe trembled accordingly. How could this one be so strong? In just such a short time, his strength has been improved so much. While dodging, the Grand Priest thought in horror. And Lu Yu hit harder and harder, each time the speed of punching was faster than the last time. And the whole person became more and more excited as he fought. I have to say, Lu Yu's cultivation talent is really amazing. It seems reasonable to be able to improve to such a level of cultivation in just 20 years. But now he is still not my opponent. At this moment, I must dispose of him, otherwise, I will surely breed tigers. Grand Priest thought incomparably gloomily. Think about it. The two fought fiercely again. Lu Yu was constantly attacking, and at this time, Grand Priest also changed from defense to offense. Boom boom boom. The fists of the two kept colliding. Although they both had reservations, they deliberately didn't let the excess energy radiate out. But even so, these two are Zhigao gods standing at the tip of the universe. So even a casual fist bump between them can make the entire universe of 077 move violently. At this time, Whis and Byrus had serious expressions on their faces. Because they all know very well that Lord Lu Yu and Lord Grand Priest are fighting. What exactly does this mean? Although neither of them intends to destroy the universe, and they are deliberately controlling their own energy. But even so, the seventh universe is not immune to this kind of battle. It looks like the seventh universe is going to disappear this time. Beerus frowned and said with a very ugly face. It is estimated that Master Zeno can stop the battle between these two people. It's just that Master Zeno doesn't know where he is now, and he only knows how to play, so he probably doesn't care about such trivial things as a universe disappearing. Probably so, Pedo. If Lord Father and Lord Lu Yu continue to fight like this, then the seventh universe will eventually perish. And if I'm not wrong, not only the entire seventh universe, but even other surrounding universes will be affected. Whis nodded, and said with a serious face. What are you saying? Will the battle between the two of them lead to the collapse of the entire universe? The people of Piccolo and Son Gohan were extremely surprised. Although they are very clear, the two people in front of them are very powerful. But isn't it terrifying that the universe can be destroyed by the aftermath of the battle alone? Not only that, if Master Grand Priest and Master Lu Yu fight with all their strength, it is estimated that not only the universe but the entire universe will collapse. Whis looked at the surprised crowd, and explained again. I am not exaggerating at all, but the fact is. What do you mean? What does it mean that the entire universe will collapse? I just want to know if Lu Yu is in danger. Number 18 asked with a worried face. Compared with the so-called dimensional universe, she is more worried about Lu's comfort. I don't know the situation now. Master Grand Priest is definitely angry now. In this universe, or in all the dimensional universes, no one has ever dared to make him so angry. However, Master Lu Yu's actions today are indeed a great humiliation to Master Grand Priest, so he may want to save face. At that time, maybe we will kill him. Whis frowned and analyzed. If it is an ordinary person, even a small person like Angel or Gods of Destruction is not worth mentioning in front of Grand Priest. So no matter what they did or said wrong, the Grand Priest didn't care at all. Don't even take it to heart. Because these people are not the slightest threat to him. But Master Lu Yu is different. First of all, his identity is not weaker than Master Grand Priest. Although Master Grand Priest may have stayed with Master Zeno longer. But there shouldn't be much difference in their positions. So what Lu Yu said was completely different from what they said. Every word is extremely important for the Grand Priest to say. And Master Lu Yu's words just now made Master Grand Priest very embarrassing. So he must regain his face. As for whether he will kill Lu Yu, he really doesn't know. After all, Lu Yu's identity is placed there. If he is really killed, it will be difficult to explain to Lord Zeno at that time. Then what are we going to do now? Should we just wait like this? Beerus and Supreme Kai, they're both in a hurry. You must know that Lu Yu really saved them just now. If Lu Yu hadn't stopped them just now, they would have been killed by Grand Priest long ago. So seeing Lu Yu in deep danger now, their mood is naturally very bad. Number 17 also clenched his fists tightly. Although he knew that his opponent was very strong, if that moment really came, he would go down and fight desperately. Everyone, I advise you to quickly dispel your thoughts. Because you can't help at all. Whis said it very directly. Even his own angel is vulnerable in front of the Grand Priest. It is no exaggeration to say that he can defeat himself with one finger. Not to mention that these people in front of him are also very weak in their own eyes. But, should we just stand by and do nothing? Beerus spoke again. For the Grand Priest, he still has great fear in his heart. But if he just looked at it like this, he felt that he was too impersonal and a little too cowardly. What else? I think you understand the horrors of Lord Grand Priest better than anyone else. Can you help? It was the first time Whis was so serious and asked in a cold tone. This sentence stopped Beerus from asking. Indeed, he can't help at all, even if he is Gods of Destruction. But at this time on the other side, as the battle between the two unfolded, it became more and more intense. Even if they are controlling their own energy, the entire seventh universe has already begun to crumble. Many planets closer to Earth have been completely destroyed and turned into universe dust. If this continues, I'm afraid the entire seventh universe will be destroyed. Lu Yu looked around at the planets that had been destroyed by more than half, and naturally felt quite unhappy. After all, in any case, I was also a human being before, so I understand the helplessness of human beings better. However, now that the arrow is on the line, we must continue to fight. I can only wait for the battle to end, and I will look for the Super Dragon Ball to restore the 7th universe. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.